The Day Before creators are apparently making some comments on why they think the game failed, as if we need their help on that. But I thought they were busy just disappearing. Some Ordinary Gamers has the story, so let's check it out.
Hello, guys and gals. Me, Mutahar. You know how many problems in life could be solved if people just took accountability for their actions?
Yeah.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you about a month ago, we talked about a game called The Day Before, right? Now,
Hilarious.
4 days after the day before, the game shuttered down, and all anybody could do the day after was just laugh at how bad this game released.
Complete
Yeah,
scam.
this might be one of the worst releases in gaming history of this decade at least. Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to go in and just basically explore.
I guess, but they
and
made
look at
money.
One of their responses, right? Now, this is a response that was posted today by the company Fantastic, the people behind
Oh, it's
the
a whole document.
pile of crap that was the day before. And, you know, accountability is an important thing. When you make a mistake, when you lie, when you make an actual honest to God mistake about something, even if it's not even if it's tiny, even if it's massive, acknowledging it, taking accountability, takes some serious stones.
But what if
Stones
it's
that
not a mistake?
Fantastic didn't have because they decided to put the blame on people like you and me. So let's read this through and dissect these scumbags' words. Recently, a lot of misinformation has emerged on the internet from supposedly anonymous sources. Now, I don't know how recent they're discussing over here. I didn't hear much about this game.
Before we even keep going, remember, Steam offered full refunds for this game to anyone. So that says a lot.
After its week of infamy, anonymous people allege that we deceived players. Yeah, I wouldn't really say anonymous. I'm just going to go on the record and
Why
say
are they
that,
saying
yes,
anonymous?
to me, it personally appears that you have deceived players.
Nobody was hiding.
Why? Because when I was looking into their product, this is, by the way, one of the most wish-listed games on Steam at the time.
That's
so
crazy.
There was a lot of hype built towards it. And in their initial gameplay trailers, it was people leading to believe that this was just like an open-world survival MMO game, kind of in the same vein as DayZ.
Yeah.
So
Which
on and
it
so
looks
forth.
really cool.
In reality, all people got was the shittiest extraction shooter known to man. But we'll get to that in a bit.
Ooh.
We worked hard and honestly on the game for 5 years. I don't deny that. I'm sure you worked hard. Doesn't mean that it correlated to a proper game, but sure. We didn't take a penny from users, didn't use crowdfunding, and
I love how so many scammers always say, I didn't take any money or I didn't make any money.
didn't offer pre-orders. All of these, as far as my knowledge goes, is true. So, of course, in that regard, I don't know anybody that was claiming that they were crowdfunding, taking pre-orders.
None of that really matters.
Users, when you sell the game, you make money, right? Like that's not a,
right.
That's not a shocking thing to come on now. Even after the game was closed, we, together with the publisher, returned money to all players, including forcibly issuing refunds to those.
What, out of kindness? Come on now. You're probably forced.
Who did not request them. How many companies return money like that? We are not a fly-by-night company. We've been operating since 2015 and have always conducted our business honestly.
Dude, nobody cares. Nobody cares. They care about their own money and they care about why the game sucked. That's it. They don't care about you. And this is like emotional almost.
Now, again, when it's like how many companies refund money, there were literally guides on how to request Steam refunds. For those of you who don't know, Steam has a policy where you can refund a game if you played it less than 2 hours. Well, in this case, people were getting their refunds if they played longer than 2 hours because of the nefarious, reputation the game had gotten. Now, at one
Which
point,
is fair. I actually think that's cool. I think that Steam did that and they were able to see that this is a bigger issue than just like a 2-hour refund. I really like that. I think that's cool.
Edward Gotovstev, one of the co-founders of Fantastic, according to this app2top.com, leaked this to the network, okay? Basically, they had said that at some point they sold 200,000 Steam units, but they had 91,000 units returned. Nearly half of their sales were being refunded through Steam. So obviously, a company known as Mytona, their publisher, jumped in and started to actually apologize. Thank God for image backup. So Mytona says to all the day before.
The publisher is apologizing.
Before players, as the investor of the day before, we would like to provide some updates on the current situation around the game. We are sorry for the fact that the game didn't meet the expectations of the majority of the players. Today, we will work with Steam to open up refunds for any player who chooses to make a refund. We're in contact with Fantastic regarding the future of this game. So again, yeah, this was not just them. It was actually more, I would say, Steam, Valve, and also the actual publisher having to jump in and basically clean the egg off of their face.
I mean, Steam and Valve and those giant companies, I'm sure that it was pretty easy to convince.
Anonymous people allege that we
probably forced them.
The investors. That's not true. We still have a great relationship with our publisher. Dad still loves us. The closure of the day before did not affect our partnership. Since 2021, we've had a New Zealand venture called Mytona Fantastic and a successful game, Prop Night, which, by the way, is dead in the water, as is most of their entire Steam history, as most of their development history is all dead in the water. So I don't really know how great the relationship is, considering that this game failed, and so did everything else. In fact, the entire studio seemed to have closed down. If you had a good relationship, they might have done more to pull your chestnuts out of the fire. So then they say anonymous former employees
tell
different
stories
about the development. We're unsure whether these employees are real or not, but we had excellent relationships with our team. Despite being a small indie company with a limited budget.
Pause. Wait. Anonymous former employees tell different stories about the development. We're unsure whether these employees are real or not. Okay.
We assisted employees with relocation and healthcare and helped some of them to buy equipment and with their mortgages and other personal matters. So what they did was provide severance and of course, like their obligations necessarily to when people are laid off and studios close because of administrative decisions being this goddamn stupid. Now, look, at the end of the day, I'm not here to do the he said, she said game. I'm here to only play with the objective fact. And there
it sucked. The game sucked.
Fact. And in this situation, look, whatever your relationship with this game development company is, it really seems like there were a chunk of people, even in their community, which obviously they're not going to be working at the company, were a little bit, misled. I remember even looking into like one of their Discord managers who were basically out there defending them until the very bitter end when all of the House of Cards here started falling. And again, it seems like a fair few individuals were sort of taken by surprise at how bad things were actually going to get. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, it's good.
That sucks.
And I'll give them credit. It's good that you're helping former employees with mortgages, equipment for them to find new jobs. That's great and all. But it doesn't take away from the fact that you lied and caused this all to happen.
Right.
The saddest part about this is people that actually wanted to develop a game and people who are actually the cogs in the machine have to suffer the most.
That's exactly right. Wow, he's saying some amazing stuff.
Dumbass choices of the people at the top of this stupid company. So here they say, who made money on the day before? Now, this is a goddamn doozy, okay? So I want you guys to prepare for this,
I'm
this
sure.
stupidity. Certain bloggers made huge money by creating false content with huge titles from the very beginning to gain views and followers, exploiting the lack of information about the game's development.
But they were absolutely right, is the problem. If they were wrong, then nobody would care about those videos. What?
Their actions triggered a gold rush amongst content creators due to the game's pre-release popularity. So I love this, by the way.
This is so dumb.
Like this game was like the California gold rush of crapping on them. Which, listen, anytime a controversy happens on YouTube, there's.
But dude, okay, sorry, he's in the middle of a sentence and I'm interrupting. If the game had been amazing, it wouldn't have mattered. Imagine, it would have actually probably been good for them to have these videos out, because then it probably brought a lot of people into buying it anyways out of curiosity. Is it a scam? Is it not a scam? We have to see for ourselves. These negative videos that the content creators are making probably help them anyways. Anyways, just a rant.
There's going to be a bunch of videos. This shouldn't shock anyone.
That's how it's going to work.
To say that because bloggers are crapping on your game, that doesn't invalidate the criticisms that people raised. Look, I can tell you right now, if you look at the day before, bloggers. You'll probably find big videos from YouTubers like The Act Man, SkillUp, me, everyone else involved. Charlie talked about it. Every single person with a sizable platform that was in the gaming sphere rightfully shat on this game. And I'm going to speak for myself here. Yes, I made money crapping on this game. You know what? You know what a counter to that statement is? Just to
was he
basically
wrong?
soften
No.
their stupid claim here. I talked about Palworld yesterday and a day ago. I think this week in general. I made 2 videos on Palworld.
Are y'all playing Palworld? What the heck is it? Is it good? Just a side note, I'm wondering. It's like, is it like Pokemon or something? I've been curious, just haven't looked into it.
Both of those videos, one of them at least, is getting the same viewership in like a day or two that my entire lifetime view of like the initial day before video made.
Wow.
So obviously, I can get the same viewership whether the coverage of the game is negative, whether the coverage is positive. Yes, negativity sells. But if you understand how YouTube algorithms work and you understand that if you cover a trending topic, whether you're positive or negative, you will get viewership drawn towards you. And here's the thing, even with games like Palworld, I have not been given a single dime from the development studio for that game. And that's it. The only correspondence I believe I've ever had is I think a community manager reached out to me, which I saw like a day ago, and they were talking about my like recent videos, the controversies of Palworld, where I gave them an objectively fair shake.
Okay, I know that I kind of just go like watch these reviews of these things and watch criticisms, but like making criticisms then having the person I'm criticizing contact me would be so bizarre.
Now, at the end of the day, my first Palworld video, I did cover it with a lot of sincerity, and I covered my honest thoughts onto it, and it was very positive. And the thing is, that wasn't a video that was paid for to make. That was just something I made because I genuinely spent 20 hours in this game and wanted to talk about it. And
that's fair.
That means that bloggers, whether they make negative or positive content, it's not as if that making money on that content is wrong. It's that as long as you're providing honest commentary and your actual beliefs on the matter, that's all that really matters. And when it comes to the day before, I can say a vast majority of influencers in my camp and me made this with our actual honest-to-God thoughts, in that this game was created by a bunch of fraudsters, okay, that basically showed one piece of advertising, and their final game was not even close, in my opinion, reflective of that. So this is where they go into, why did they say that
people
the release
can say what they want,
you know, the same as that in the trailers, and why was the game closed? We implemented everything shown in the trailers, from home improvements and a detailed world to off-road vehicles. We only disabled a few minor features like parkour due to the bugs, but plan to include them in the full release. Now, obviously, this is a game that comes out early access, and when you release a game early access, you're probably not going to have every single thing available, because the 1.0 version of the game, which usually comes after the early access period, does contain all of the stuff that the game should have. But I want to reiterate, when I covered their shitty game, I looked at their announcement trailers, their gameplay trailers, and there was a stark difference between...
It's not fair to show a gameplay of, I think, showing a gameplay of tons of things that aren't going to be in the original release. I don't think that's fair. It doesn't, because like for me, it doesn't make sense. Like, okay, you could put this in your trailer, but you couldn't include it in the game. Like, I don't like that. It feels deceptive anyways. Yeah. I don't like that.
In what we had seen and the final actual release of the game. There were so many elements from the announcement trailer that made the game feel more lively, more dynamic, more close to a game brand that they were basically aping, in my opinion, The Last of Us. And then the final product comes out, and it's not even an open world MMO game. It's a goddamn extraction shooter, which if you want to play an extraction shooter, dog, there's millions of them at this point. You might as well play the ones that have effort put into them. Anyways, remember the experiment where you're asked to count pink objects in a room and then recall the blue ones? Okay, so now we're getting into Psych 101 here. You won't remember any. It's all about focus. The negative bias instilled by certain bloggers making money on hate-affected perceptions of the game. Look at unbiased gameplay, like Dr. Disrespect Dream and Release. You know what? I actually did do that for my video. The
Look at
gameplay
him
that I primarily
shooting.
wanted to show in my video was from Dr. Disrespect. Now, it's not that I'm a fan of like Dr. Disrespect or anything. I just think that
His
when it comes to
face.
these type of games, battle royales and extraction shooters, he's probably the only one that shows up in my feed. So I'm like, look, I'm not going to go buy your game and get scammed personally myself, in my
I'm gonna
opinion.
go
What
watch.
I'm going to do is I'm
Yeah.
going to look at a stream for the video game. And that's why I love live streamers. If you watch a live streamer play a game, typically in an unedited manner, you can see exactly what the game is going to be like
Yep.
before you
Yeah.
end up spending your money on it. And
Absolutely.
Dr. Disrespect's gameplay, they claim, despite the initial bugs and server issues, he
He
liked the
liked the
game,
game.
which we fixed later. Your game died in 4 days. So again, what did you really
Right. They're talking about it like it's been months of just battering and beatings, and it was just 4 days.
fix, and what did it even matter? Yeah, just
This
because
is
he
so
likes the game doesn't
funny.
mean that I have cataracts or I'm fucking blind. I could see the animation quality, I could see the gameplay, the lack of zombies in this open world survival MMO. Dog, there is more survival going on between my walk to the office water cooler and back to this computer, okay? That's it. So get out of here with he
Yeah.
liked the game. See, it's unbiased. I watched the unbiased gameplay. It still didn't look good. And the game received improved reviews over the weekend, okay? Unfortunately, the hate campaign had already inflicted significant damage.
No.
Again, when they say hate campaign, look, like I said, YouTubers, if you make a
Right.
good game, will make good coverage of your game.
Well, it's not just that. It's insulting because they're assuming that the normal people who aren't bloggers are just stupid. They saw some blogger that they like say it was bad, and then 91,000 out of 200,000 decided to return it. Like, that's not the case. If your game was actually really good, it wouldn't be an issue. But they're just assuming their customers are
World
dumb.
is killing it in the coverage right now. And obviously, a lot of people enjoy that game. And that's
I'm gonna
why
look up a
it's doing
Palworld
very successful
video
on not
next.
just Twitch, on YouTube,
What the
but
heck is
also
that?
selling millions of copies. Literally almost a day. It's like every day they sell like a million more.
Wow.
So, by the way, after sales closed, many people wrote to us that bloggers had deceived them, and they liked the game. I love this line. Many people wrote to us. They do not produce the actual emails. Okay, cool, awesome.
Right.
They
Many
asked for
people.
access. We also heard petitions were created to continue
Many people wrote to us that bloggers had deceived them and they liked the game. Okay.
development.
No proof.
And on the black market, the game price exceeded $200. Some even began to make their own mods. So when they
Because your
mention
game
black markets,
sucked.
they're talking about like CD key, like after markets where you buy like
Yes.
CD keys for cheaper. Yeah, just
Mhm.
because your game was priced at $200 and I guess maybe it's sold doesn't actually make it good. People were just buying because at that point they considered it a rare entry in their Steam
Yeah.
library. That doesn't make
Mhm.
your game good. So yeah, this is an entire
A collector.
post from these guys to basically deflect and never take any acknowledgement. And look, we can talk about the day before
Yeah.
forever, but it's already the day after. So ladies and gentlemen, let me just make a comparison to another group of developers. Look,
It's
when
funny.
you lie and make a mistake this heavy, people are not going to forget it, right?
It's not a
gamers are
mistake.
not stupid individuals. When it comes
That's
to
what I'm
buying a
saying.
video game and people sharing and streaming their experiences, if your
Yes.
game plays like crap, looks like crap, people will talk crap. If your game is
Mhm.
fun and your game is enjoyable, like Palworld is, and again, I'm gonna keep making that comparison, especially for this, people will share it, people will talk about it, and people will buy it and share it with their friends. That
Mhm.
is the difference between your game and a successful game. These guys
Right.
released a game that was so buggy, all right, at launch, that it could be classified as a bug-type legendary Pokemon. But Palworld comes out and they have a pretty clean, clear crystal game that seemingly with very little bugs. A game that even in its early access
It's
feels
workable.
fun to play and it doesn't feel
Yeah.
like a nuisance on my system. There are key differences. Look, even with other developers that have made mistakes, one of them is CD Projekt Red. Look, they made a serious mistake with Cyberpunk 2077, where they, in my opinion, straight up lied to the audience about what was in the game. Now, they could have said, fuck you guys. Instead, they decided to go back, patch the game up, make Phantom Liberty one of the greatest expansions in video game history, in my opinion, and then end up releasing a game that now, if it released, could easily hit Game of the Year, in my personal opinion.
Yeah. I think, again, they're just assuming people are stupid. And I think that the general audience, obviously the buyers, can tell if a company is making attempts or is just trying to screw them over, you know? It's easy. This is why people are suspicious before it even came out, because they could see it coming. People are not dumb. Buyers aren't dumb. They care about their money. They want to know what they're buying. You know, it's not bloggers.
They're big, rich AAA developers. What about a small indie team like Hello Games? When they released No Man's Sky years ago at this point,
we just watched this.
It launched with as much hate, if not more hate, than your game had. Now, instead of them going, you know, you guys,
it's all your fault,
they hunkered down, accepted that they made a mistake, and you know what they did? They patched their game up. And now No Man's Sky is one of the best space exploration sandbox games in the market. You guys couldn't leave your game up for over 4 days, took an L, and then still couldn't accept it. And now all you're going to do is sit here and co-post as your company is completely shattered. So yeah, this is how Fantastic imploded. And honestly, I would have a lot more respect if they didn't even make this response to begin with.
Yeah. If they had just disappeared, it would have been less bad than that kind of thing.
That said,
who wrote that document?
If you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am out. Hello, guys and gals.
I'm going to go back to where he had that big screen shot of the document. Here it is. So it's Fantastic HQ. Somebody, Fantastic HQ, decided to write this. It's just so embarrassing. I mean, even with all that controversy before they released, they still sold 200,000 copies. If it were good, it would have just kept going up. Whatever. 4 days. They didn't even try. They didn't even get through a work week without just giving up. And they were working on it for years. Yeah, okay. It just screams scam. Anyways, I'll leave this video in the description if you want to go watch it for yourself. Maybe you want to look at this whole document up close. It's pretty silly. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.